1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, everybody. I'm James Hake of the Hake Report, streaming on the 4th hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show video stream. Thank you, Jesse. It's 9 a.m. Pacific time, well, just past it, on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2019. And audio podcasts go up after the show. You can find those at thehakereport.com, thehakereport.com. You can be listening live via jlptalk.com. Remember jlptalk.com to find Jesse's links for streaming video, because you never know if a platform that decides that Jesse's truth is too hateful for them because they hate the truth, then you can always find Jesse at jlptalk.com, presumably. Before I get to calls, I want to get right into calls and talk a little bit about some of the news that I read today. But I wanted to read a quick tweet from President Trump, who tweeted, "The squad, quote unquote, is a very racist group of troublemakers who are young, inexperienced, and not very smart." I don't have this tweet, so don't worry about Joel. "They are pulling the once great Democrat Party far left and were against humanitarian aid at the border and now against ICE and Homeland Security. So bad for our country." I love Trump for standing on the truth. And he's talking about, of course, he's talking about the squad being AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, the representative from Minnesota, or wherever she's from, Rashida Tlaib, the other Muslim Democrat woman who was elected this recently in 2018, and of course, Ayanna Pressley, the black woman, with what Jesse says fake hair. It never crossed my mind that it was fake hair, but and so Jesse said. She's a fake person, that's for sure. And I really love Jesse, him too, for standing on the truth, but Trump for standing on the truth. When he said they're rapists, famously in June of 2015, when he announced his candidacy for president, he said, "Mexico is not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people." He told the absolute truth, but the media, of course, the lying, dishonest media, said that he was lying, or said that it was inaccurate, or misleading, or something. No, it was the truth. And then, so he stood on that, despite all there were boycotts by NBC, I want to say, all kinds of Univision, all kinds of people that were involved business-wise with him boycotted him, and everybody was shouting, saying that's racist, and you can't say that, and he said all Mexicans are rapists. No, he didn't. Stuff like that. He stood on that, and that's when I was so excited because normally when somebody tells the truth, a white man gets too bold, becomes too manly, or too honest, or too anything, then they try to shut him down, and usually the white man backs down. We've seen it time after time after time after time. And it's always been so disappointing because you want to support the guy, whoever it is, that's telling the truth. But then they don't even support themselves. But Trump did. He backed himself up. So that was one time. And then more recently, 2017, in the summertime, after the Charlottesville riot in which Antifa attacked the alt-right, and some blacks and alt-right people got into fights. I say alt-right loosely just because whoever was there. They just attacked people like crazy, Antifa did. And one white guy flipped out, one alt-right type of a guy, he had major personal issues, by the way, flipped out and drove his car into a crowd after Antifa was hitting his car with flagpoles and stuff. And Trump told the truth on that story. There were very fine people on both sides. There was violence on many sides. And I guess that you could say that. There were some of the alt-right who came ready to fight Antifa, but really it was Antifa attacking the alt-right, not the other way around. And so Trump's told the truth on that. He was the only person. He did the media's job, and the media attacked him for it, of course, and the Democrats and RINOs, including Mitt Romney. He said there's no comparison between racists and Antifa. He was defending the people who are anti-racist. He didn't specifically name Antifa, but that's what he was talking about. Loser. And so Trump stood out the truth on that. That's what I loved about President Trump back in, I think that was 2017. And then more recently, when he told the four thugs, as Jesse calls them, the progressive Democrat congresswomen of color, to go back to their countries and fix their places. Ayanna Pressley is from Maryland or somewhere. I forget where she's from exactly. But she should go back to the black community and fix it, because she's not helping where she is. All those congresswomen just creating mess. And so Trump is standing on the truth time after time after time. And that's so powerful to see a president do that. I'm so happy about that. That's bigger than the wall, in my opinion, because that's a cultural change. That is courageous. That's standing on the truth. And so that's much more important to me than anything. But he is fighting for the wall. People say that he hasn't done anything. That's not true. He's declared a national emergency. People were complaining, why doesn't he declare a national emergency? He could build the wall tomorrow. He declared a national emergency. He appropriated funds from the military. He instituted zero tolerance policy, meaning anybody who crosses, you get detained. You don't get, well, they're forcing catch and release on us. But, you know, he's instituted zero tolerance policy. And that's what the children in cages was. And I'm glad that the children went in cages. Who cares? They don't care. It's fun for them. But it's a mess. So he's done all of this stuff, and he's built some wall. And so all these people saying he hasn't lifted a finger, he's just pretending, he lied, those people are liars. And those people are some of the most disloyal people, too, by the way, that are criticizing Trump in that way. A few people are semi-loyal, but nothing like Trump. Trump is a loyal person, and he does keep his word. So that's nice. I'm going to talk about Tom Hanks in a minute, and I'm going to talk about, I have a little intro that Dylan, one of the callers from Iowa, I think, gave to me for Hake News intros. And so I'm going to play that for you, and then I want to talk a little bit about Boris Johnson and the guy that he defeated, Jeremy Hunt, a white man with an Asian wife. He went over to China and married a woman who's 11 years younger than him. Anyways, Joseph, out of Wisconsin, first-time caller. Joseph, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, James? Happy White History Month.
Thank you. Happy White History Month to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Hey, before I get to my question, I just want to make 3 points quick, if I might.
Okay.
I think with our government, first off, anybody that serves in our government should be born in the United States.
By this point, I kind of agree.
They should be naturalized citizens by actually being birthed here and grown up here.
Natural-born citizens. Yep.
Natural-born citizens, or you can't serve in our government.
That would be nice.
And the second point is, do you know why Mexico keeps sending their people over here?
No, I do not.
It is because if you research, it is their number one source of income for Mexico.
Wow.
All the Mexicans that work here send their money home. And it's over $250 million a year that they receive. And we, not only that we lose, but it's money that doesn't get recycled into our economy.
Yeah.
And if you look at the past 4 presidents, they've all went to college in the United States.
Shameful.
I mean,
You know,
it's unbelievable.
oh, you're talking about the Mexican presidents.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They've all
That's
went to
probably where they got
college in the
brainwashed
US.
to be anti-American, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of brainwashing down in Mexico, too. They're socialists.
And I got to give credit to that guy that I think he was, a quadriplegic, triple amputee or whatever, that started that GoFundMe for the wall.
Uh-huh.
And he built, did you see how many miles of walls he built?
I saw that he built a certain amount of wall. I don't remember how many miles it was. But that was
Oh my
nice.
God. The Democrats tried to stop him.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Because he wanted to give it to the government, and they shut it down. So he went door to door asking people if they wanted a wall built, and everybody said yes.
Yeah.
And there were pictures. Did you see the pictures of the people in Mexico that were trying to come over and they saw the walls up and
No.
they turned around and were walking back?
Nice. That's a good thing. We should be, if these people were so concerned about humaneness, they would want a wall, because a wall deters people from sneaking across the border in remote areas, and some of them the stragglers get deserted by the coyotes and the fellow travelers, and they die. 800, hundreds of people die a year.
Where he put up the wall, over 300 people a day were coming across.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
they say, we should only be
workers.
concerned about overstayed visas. That's such a deception.
Yeah, and it was creating jobs. You got people running heavy machinery. You got steel workers. You're creating all kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
And why you wouldn't want to stimulate the economy?
That's a good point. That's fair.
It's beyond me.
Well,
because
they want voters. They want Democrat voters. They want to change the demographics. They love making white people a minority because white people are their enemy. White people don't vote for them as a majority.
Yeah.
More and more are, because they're getting brainwashed in these stupid institutions, in social media and the colleges and high schools and junior highs and elementary schools, and they're wanting to institute mandatory.
Free.
They're trying to institute mandatory preschool on everybody. Crazy, universal preschool, so they can indoctrinate you at an even earlier age. Crazy. Anyway, Joseph, I appreciate it.
So yeah, but my question for you is this: I'm a Christian, and my parents are Catholics.
All right.
And they go to a Catholic church. I was born and raised a Catholic, went to Catholic school for 10 years, and didn't like the Catholic Church. Knew there was always something wrong with it.
Yeah.
The Catholic Church is the only church, or probably one of the only churches, when they build a Catholic church, it's got a phallic symbol at the entrance, a giant, steeple.
Yeah, I get it.
You walk inside, clear violations of the second commandment, where you shouldn't make any symbols of heaven above and, the dead people. They got statues of Mary outside that you can pray to, and she's just a mortal woman, and
yeah.
Why do you got to pray to a mortal woman? I'm trying to tell my parents this is wrong.
Yeah.
I even sat down with the priest with a list of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you never talk about repenting. You never talk about asking for forgiveness. You never talk about why you have these idols and symbols in your church when you know you shouldn't. And well, we don't talk about repenting because once saved, always saved. I said, that's not true.
Yeah, you have to repent first. And most people have not truly repented. In fact, like the churches, most of the time, I think even in the New Testament, most of the time people had not yet repented. They were seeking. And that's why they talk so much about no one who is born of God sins.
You have to repent every time, and they never talk about reading a Bible.
Yeah, if they believe in once saved, always saved, how come they have confession?
Yeah, a man cannot forgive sins.
Right.
It's in the Bible. Only God can. I said, why are you confessing your sins to a mortal man?
So what's your question about that, Joseph?
For you?
I got to move on, but what's your question about that?
How can I help my parents break out of this brainwashing that they're in to help them see the light, help them see that what they're doing is not right?
I would say, how old are you?
52.
I would say, number one, it's not up to you to break that brainwashing. Nobody can be unbrainwashed by a fellow human being. Two, you have to be an example. Like, you have to be like a perfect example, because you can intellectually argue perfectly and they'll never get it unless they're open to it. And the only way to help somebody maybe be more open to it is to be a perfect example, like, Trump, Jesse. Trump has changed a lot of minds. Jesse has changed a lot of minds, but it isn't even them that's changed the minds. It's just that they've been a good example. And that causes people to pause and take a second look at stuff that they thought that they knew. But that's not just going to happen by you being worried and concerned about your parents or anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're under this misconception that their good deeds are going to get them into heaven, and they don't need the Bible. They don't need any of that. They don't need to pray when they're away from church.
Let me tell you. Let me make one last point to you, Joseph. When I was coming out of college, I was like so concerned about my friend's salvation. And meanwhile, I was kind of serious about Christianity and stuff, reading the Bible like crazy. But meanwhile, I was getting more and more and more corrupt myself, worrying about other people. So I say, don't worry about them. Just seek for yourself. Seek, the kingdom yourself.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Right on, man. Nice to hear from you. I'm told that's not. I'm going to correct one minor point. It's not really a significant point about Mexico after your call. I appreciate it, man.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, buddy, and have a good rest of the White History Month.
Thanks, man. You too.
And I continue to listen to your show every day.
Cool, man. Thank you, man.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bible Go-To guy texted me, said it is a large source of income, referring to these Mexicans that send half their paycheck home after they get paid because they're coming here alone, talking about breaking up families. I knew one of my illegal alien friends, coworkers, used to send half his paycheck home, and he lived just in a little bedroom, and half his paycheck went to his kids that were growing up without their father, with their father living in America, and them down in Mexico, and to maybe his parents or his baby's mama or whatever. And that is so common. They send their paycheck, half their paycheck, or, a significant amount down to Mexico. He said it is a large source of income for the Mexican country, but it is not the largest source of income. But that's really beside the point. You made a good, solid point in general about it's a moneymaker for them to have their illegals up here sending money back there. And then those people spend money down in Mexico. Let me get to more callers. Greg, first-time caller on the Hake Report out of Delaware. How are you doing, Greg?
Very good, James. I'm not a first-time caller. I never see that. Couple things. First of all,
right.
The Democrats want to import Mexicans to do the job Americans just won't do, and that is vote Democrat.
Good point. Yep.
But my main reason for calling is I hear every day on your show or on Jesse's show the words Ninjaghini and diamond, and I have no idea what that means.
Okay. A Ninjaghini and a diamond. A Ninjaghini is 1,000 lino to make a Ninjaghini. And a diamond is 100 lino. And lino are cryptocurrency, kind of like bitcoins. But lino are, it's cryptocurrency. And there's also a ninjet, and there's ice cream and lemons. And on dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson, people can join in to DLive, and they can earn lino just by watching, participating, and every day we open the treasure chest on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, which is basically a redistribution of lemons. So Jesse gets lino from these donations from the viewers, and then a little bit is set aside to redistribute back to the viewers, and the people that are most active in the chat get more lino. They get 30, 100, 10, 1 lino back. And so it's just a kind of a nice way to make and distribute pennies. Lino, or 1 lino is kind of like a penny.
Okay.
Yeah. Give or take. Yeah. Anyways, so that's that. It's money.
One other thing, a lot of people will call Jesse's show, and they'll have these, quote, Christian expectations. He's supposed to do this, he's supposed to do that, he's supposed to act this way, act that way. Well, today I called about something, and for whatever reason, the whole time I was calling, Jesse was kind of acting goofy and singing, and, he took my call and he addressed everything. I'm not complaining about that. But what was funny, when I got off the call, I realized that is exactly what I needed at that moment. I just needed something lighthearted. Yeah. And it was, I'm sure he didn't say oh, here's Greg. Greg needs something lighthearted. He just, whatever he did. He always says something comes through him. And it didn't really hit me at the time. At the time, I thought, how come he's acting so goofy and he don't really take this call? He was answering the call, but he just kept having his fun. Yeah. But that was just what I needed at that moment. It was funny. That's just exactly. I don't know if the public needed it, but that's what I needed.
Nice. That reminds me of when I was a listener on the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, as opposed to a participant. I used to always love, no matter how dreadful, if I can use that word, it's a British word, the news was that he was presenting, he was always, joyful. Dreadful. No, right. He was always joyful. And the other thing is, it reminds me of how Trump is. President Trump, you never really see him down. You never see him with a nasty attitude. Obama always had a nasty attitude. Always either phony or fake joyful or just nasty, passive-aggressive crap, if I can say that word. But Trump is just a joyful person, and Jesse too. And so those are the type of people that you want in charge of things, because it kind of goes from the top down. Obama put the country into darkness, into a depression, and Trump is bringing it back up. There's a lot of people who are mad who hate real, genuine, happy people, but that's okay.
No, and it's like I always say, if you're going to die, at least die, in a good mood. You know what I mean? Right. The outcome's going to be the same all you can do is make certain moves, but you're under no obligation to be angry or grumpy or unhappy about what you have to go through.
Yeah. Good point, Greg. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, thanks, James. The show is usually getting better and better all the time. We appreciate it.
All right, cool. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Blazing Hawgs out of Ohio. Blazing Hawgs, how are you doing, man?
What's up, James?
Hey, good to hear from you.
All right, we're not going to talk about Dayton today. We're going to talk about Cincinnati.
Okay.
Cincinnati, it's been a 5-year trial going on. She was an ex-judge, Tracy Hunter. I sent this in to Nick. It should play on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
Because it was paying the money, and she got convicted and is serving 6 months sentence.
What a shame.
And when they convicted her, pandemonium broke out. All the blacks, the big old heifer, jumped right over the wall, come across, got arrested, and Tracy Hunter just went limp, and the bailiff had to just drag her out of the courtroom. It's kind of comical.
Wow.
But I mean, what she did was, as soon as she got elected to be a judge, she never was a judge or anything beforehand. But from day one, it was illegal, everything that she was doing and how she was handling cases. And Jesse's guest that he just had on today, not that woman, but the guy, from Cincinnati, he was talking about Prosecutor Bob Lowe.
Oh, yeah.
He's the prosecutor that made sure this went down. Said that she did wrong. She's got to pay for it, And they're all asking for clemency or whatever, And now they're just all up in arms. And it's amazing to see that Cincinnati is standing up for this right here, trying to make this right.
I'm not surprised that there's. Right. I'm not really surprised that there's so much corruption, though, because it's become so common. It's become kind of part of the culture. You know how America didn't used to be corrupt, at least not to the level that like Mexico was and other places in the world. But it's becoming more and more corrupt, and it's quite predictable, honestly, because the people are so they don't have morals.
All these big cities, they get in there.
It's all about the hookup.
And that's what she did when she got in there. She only wanted to bail her brother out.
Yeah,
was one thing, and then she only hired black businesses, and some of them weren't even worthy business.
Yeah, of course.
And they were getting the money and whatnot. Same as kind of what the Dayton city officials was that I told you about.
Yeah.
I missed the show yesterday, but I know Maze called. You didn't bring it up, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I
brought it up. But she kind of, she of course changed the subject. She doesn't care.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that tomorrow. I missed it yesterday. I forgot my earbuds at work.
No problem, man. I appreciate the
support
and the tips.
I just wanted to make note of that. Just more of the truth being foretold.
Cool.
So hopefully we'll see that tomorrow's show.
All right, Blazing Hawgs. Thank you for the tips.
Take care, Jay.
All right, you too. Take care. Craig out of Illinois. Craig, how are you?
Hey, James. How you doing, brother?
Fine. What's up?
Happy White History Month to you, man.
Thank you. Happy White History Month to you as well.
Thank you. Hey, reason why I'm calling you, there was a caller that you had talked to, like 2 callers from the one you just got to talking to.
Yes.
And he was saying that, you know how the illegal immigrants are coming over here in America illegally, and then they work, they get jobs and stuff like that, and they send money home.
Speak up, man. You're coming in kind of muffled.
Okay, can you hear me now?
That's better, yeah.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. So what I was saying was there was 2 callers that came in.
Yeah, I heard that.
This one.
Yeah,
okay.
They're sending money back to Mexico.
Yeah. So my thing here is, okay, I'm for people that's out there trying to, do right and hustle in the right way.
Yeah.
But I'm not for the ones that's doing it the illegal way.
Right.
For all these guys that want to come over here and cross the border illegally, it's got to be something going on with their government. Because I'm sure that America is negotiating deals with them regarding, like, with our, fruits and vegetables coming from, different countries or whatever. But what is it their government doing to their own people to make them want to leave their country and to come over here illegally? I'm just really puzzled with this. Like, what is going on?
Well, it's not just Mexico. There's a whole lot of, in fact, Mexicans are I think the Mexican influx is relatively down, even though they've been like the majority of illegals, like 60% plus of illegals coming across here. But I think their influx is a little bit lower now. But there's a whole lot of Central and South Americans, well, specifically Central, El Salvador, Honduras, and all those places have a whole lot of crime and corruption. No, I say corruption because there's no doubt that there's got to be corruption. And the violent crime in some of these places is like some of the highest in the world. And so they're so-called fleeing poverty and violence, and sometimes they're looking for jobs. They call themselves economic refugees. I don't know what exactly their government's doing. Sometimes, the liberals like to blame this on America because America has supposedly meddled in some stuff down there. I don't know how much of that I buy, but I'm not sure. I'm not convinced that it's not true because there's a lot of stuff that our government under these liberals and RINOs and all that stuff have been doing wrong, but they should stay and fight. But there's like it's kind of a precursor to what's going to happen here, where the good people are going to have to go into hiding or flee or whatever if we don't turn this around, which needs a major turnaround. Because it's just, the evil just spreads. It's not like these people coming here are good people. Some of them may be some may be less evil than others, I guess. Yeah. But we really don't even know who these people are that are coming. And there's like murders, there's all these stories of murders of LGBT people. And so I've seen stories that, how we make some of these illegals wait in Mexico or in Guatemala as a safe third country agreement. Some of them are the LGBTQ ones are not forced to stay and wait there. They're coming up here. So we're bringing in some of the most corrupt people because those people are not generally positive contributors to society. They don't vote Republican generally. These people aren't even supposed to vote, but they end up doing it, and their children do too. So it's just a mess.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wish I had a better answer as far as what the government's doing.
Yeah, because I'm like,
it.
People don't realize that it does affect us Americans because taxes go up more.
Yep.
And then, like, with medical insurance, man, like, I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I have a job, man.
Yeah.
And I've been doing my job for 18 years, man, but it bothers me to where, I have to pay a certain amount of money, for my insurance because they won't cover this amount. It bothers me.
They're treating the illegals like they were treating the slaves. You know how they had the 3/5 compromise?
Yeah.
Where we Americans didn't want to count all of the slaves toward representation power. Well, now with this census, they want all of the illegals to be counted. And that's because each head, specifically of children, represents money. As many human beings that you have go into a school or whatever, you can ask for more money. A school that has 400 people as opposed to 800 or 1,000 people, that school with 1,000 people is going to get more money from the governments. And so it's all about money, power, votes, and just fake wannabe imitation compassion. And these liberals pretend like they have such compassion. I was watching this preview of Mr. Rogers, where Tom Hanks plays Mr. Rogers. And I'm looking at it, and I just, knowing what Tom Hanks is, he's a liberal, it's just a total turnoff to see these people's phoniness. It's just such empty, fake imitation love. But that's what you see. And meanwhile, people like you and normal people are getting the short end of the stick, to put it nicely.
And that's true. It's like yourself, we wake up every morning to go to work to do the right thing, and then you got people that be here illegally, and they get everything awarded to them. Like, they didn't have to struggle to get to where they at today, and they get free health insurance, free support on food stamps, you name it, they get it, housing.
Yep.
And you got homeless Americans out here that's trying to get housing, but they can't get it because they put the illegal first. That's not cool. That's not making America great. That's why I'm glad we got the great white hope in the office right now to help us and try to get us, back on track here. So this is ridiculous. Now, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
As a Caucasian male, do you experience hate by, not all, but most black people?
Not really. I mean, I don't really run into, like, the normal people that I run into, they're fine. They're normal. Unless, unless I start getting into a conversation. But the people on the show, maybe half the callers are nasty towards me because they don't like me being white and talking. Or, stuff like that. Twitter, people on Twitter.
Yeah.
But generally, I think that when in normal situations, you're not gonna run into troubles unless it gets really bad. But I kind of stay in safer areas.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. All right, cool, man. Hey, good talking with you, James. Man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Be yourself, man, and forget those haters out there, man.
Appreciate it, Craig. Thank you, man. Take care.
All right, man. Be blessed, man. Bye.
You too. Bye. Onyx, first-time caller out of Dallas, Texas. Onyx, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. James?
Fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing well, sir. I had a quick topic to discuss, man. Just wanted to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
So I guess it happened today or yesterday. Over here in Dallas, there was a young 18-year-old boy that got, mistakenly arrested by ICE agents.
Okay.
Due to them thinking that he had a fake document. He was with his brother in the car. They were coming from somewhere, some soccer place, practice or something like that. They got stopped at a checkpoint, and the brother wasn't legal here. So they took him, and he signed a deportation, like a voluntary deportation, so that he could talk to his mother.
Okay.
But the brother had actual documents. He was born and raised here in Dallas at Parkland Hospital.
All right.
From what I gathered. And but it said that the ICE agents didn't believe that his documents were real.
Yeah.
And I was always wondering, I was like, why did they do this? It seems kind of wrong. And I see everybody on the news and everybody that's writing about this joint is talking about, hey, it's wrong. You're arresting U.S. citizens. ICE is on the wrong side. This, and that, yada, yada, yada. Well, anyway, I found out that they interviewed the mama. And it turns out the mama had applied for a visa whenever that boy was a minor. And she used his name for that visa, and falsely stated that he was born in Mexico. So ICE had gathered all that information and raised the suspicion even more. And now I'm wondering why, even with the evidence presented, why the mother still continues to act like the victim in all this when it was by her actions that her son is where he is now. You get me?
Yeah. So if, according to what you said, the boy was born here. 18-year-old man was born here, so he was an anchor baby, but she applied for a visa, and somehow, for some reason, it was beneficial for her to lie and say that he was born in Mexico?
Right.
Man, I mean, it seems very typical of mothers, corrupt mothers, to do this kind of thing, where they use their children and then play the victim when their child gets in trouble for the way that they raised them or what they did. You see this a lot with a lot of different mothers, where they'll take pretend to be taking the side of their kid when they're the ones that mess the kid up. And it's crazy too. I mean, I cut ICE some slack because they're gonna make mistakes like this sometimes. But apparently this was not really even a mistake because there was fraudulent behavior on the part of the mother, according to your story.
the lack of accountability in this case is like surprising to me. It's like,
Yeah.
the evidence is
They should throw her in
Mama
jail.
knows she messed up.
Can they? I wish that they could throw her in jail for the fraudulent whatever visa thing.
Yeah, she should be taking the son's place, right?
Yeah, she should be deported. The son doesn't need her
it
anymore.
turns
The
out-
son is an
turns out
anchor
she's
baby. He
illegal
can
as well.
stay because people are abusing the 14th Amendment, where people who were born and raised here under our jurisdiction. I don't know if this. I don't think that it should count illegals, but it does according to liberals and RINOs.
Right.
But he can stay and they can get out of here. He's 18. He can take care of himself.
Oh yeah, and
Man.
I'm not, not one to say that I don't feel bad for his case. I kind of feel bad for him more than I do for Mama. But Mama's making it seem like she's the one suffering.
Everybody has their challenges. I don't even really feel bad for him. Everybody is born into some situation or another, and that was his mother's fault. Where's the father? I wonder.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always the daddy missing, and that's part of what Jesse always talks about. I listen to Jesse's show as well,
Yeah.
and he's always about the daddy missing from the home, or
Yep.
when he sees a crazy woman on the talk show, where is this woman? Where is her husband?
Yeah. It is so
Got me out
funny.
in public screaming that too.
It shows you the media really doesn't care about these people because they don't point out what they do wrong. When
Right.
when somebody, anytime anybody is doing wrong, they take the side of the wrongdoer, and then scrutinize the people that are want to enforce the law. They scrutinize Trump like crazy, but then they give a pass to all these illegals telling their sob stories with no follow-up on whether their sob stories are true and all that stuff. It's just so phony. That's how
I
you
always
know
wonder
that
why
they're...
people don't do their homework.
Say that again?
I always wonder why people don't do their homework.
Yeah.
You hear about something, you shouldn't just take it as it is. You should really dig deeper yourself and find out. That's how I came about this case here.
Yeah.
Because at first I was, man, that's messed up.
Yep.
But I did a little deeper digging and found out that Mama was behind it. So I was just like, whoa.
Or just take it with a grain of salt. Be like, if you don't have time to dig into it, you just be like, okay, maybe that's true, maybe not. It doesn't sway what's right. Anyways, Onyx, nice to hear from you. Thank you for the story.
Mr. James. I look forward to calling again and talking again.
All right, right on. Take care.
Now, God bless you, man. Have a good one.
All right, happy White History Month, too.
Happy White History Month.
Nice. Take care. Steve, first-time caller out of Vancouver, Washington. Steve, how are you?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I was calling because earlier I hear this all the time with, when Republicans, because I'm a Republican, right? I'm just not a conservative or a libertarian. I'm more of a nationalist.
Okay.
An American nationalist.
Nice.
But I know that I have no other choice but to vote Republican based off of, just how Democrats seem to be like almost anti-nationalist.
Right.
But I kind of get irritated when Republicans, like conservatives and libertarians, talk about how they're being censored and they're being deplatformed and when, it's been going on for years. Anyone who's got any, far-right opinions has been shut down, and these same Republican people have been right there. They never said anything. They never cared about, what was going on. That's why, groups like Antifa, all of them, they've been around forever.
I know.
When a Republican, like a conservative, calls a fascist a leftist or a Nazi a leftist, it's kind of insulting when millions of those guys died fighting leftists. And, they got stabbed in the back. And just like we're being stabbed in the back by Republicans now.
How are we being stabbed in the back by Republicans right now? Just explain that.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So you're in this with me.
Well, I don't know, but how are you getting stabbed in the back by Republicans? Just reiterate that.
We constantly get used as this prime example of evil. And, of course, the leftists are fascists. They won't ever call them communists or Marxists. They call them fascists because I know exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to pander to those lefties that are on the middle fence who might not care too much about communism, but they sure hate fascism.
Uh-huh.
And you know, a lot of that
Who are
German nationalism.
Who are they calling fascists?
Who are they calling fascists?
Who is calling who a fascist? Because I don't totally follow.
You got Ben Shapiro, you got that one senator with the eye patch, I forget his name. I think it's Crenshaw.
Yeah, Dan Crenshaw.
He was up there the other day pandering to him,
who did he call a fascist?
How bad Antifa is and how actually punching a Nazi in the face is a good thing. And it's like, well, actually, we have freedom of speech in this country. And, you know, being a half German and having German relatives, I know very well that country fought very hard to fight what's going on. And, you know, they don't have the right to even investigate or know about their history. And, you know, they never had freedom before. They never had freedom during, and they never had freedom after. So for certain Germans to be used as the prime example of this censorship when England and all these other European countries and even in the United States, people like me, you know, it's okay to punch me in the face. It's okay to...
So Dan Crenshaw said that it's okay to punch so-called Nazis in the face?
Yeah.
He said that?
Yeah, more or less.
I'll have to look into that.
Investigate. And I would tell you guys to investigate certain things, but unfortunately, you know, it's all shut down. You guys might know something about that. You guys were telling people not to hate Jews, and that's a good thing, and I believe in that. And, you know, I don't think all of what happened back then was about that. But, you know, whenever that's the whole plan of the leftists, whenever the victim is, you know, whenever there's a victim, it's never that they were communists or partisans or what people would call freedom fighters. It's that, oh, this was a gay, this was a Jew, this was that. But, you know, if conservatives keep this up in 100 years, and, you know, there's already so many people today, I guarantee you, would say that they witnessed some sort of what they want to call it, what they're trying to compare it to.
Steven, man, it's kind of tough to follow what you're saying because you seem to be kind of beating around the bush. But I appreciate it. I do understand
I'm trying to beat around the bush so that you guys don't.
Yeah, I understand.
I really don't want to paint the wrong picture. I'm not a racist.
Listen, man, you don't have to tell me about that. I understand your frustration with the censorship has been going on a long time, and it's not just anybody who's far right; it's anybody who's independent. Jesse's been getting kicked off of radio stations and stuff since 1990 when he started his organization. And
yes,
so
sir.
I understand your frustration, but I recommend...
I love you guys.
Yeah, right on. I just recommend follow Jesse's advice. He has good advice about the anger, and then you can deal with it right, you know? Because I understand that there's a lot of evil that was allowed and that is still allowed in the world with the UN and all that stuff. It's basically communism 1. And we have it kind of practically accepted here in America. And I understand your frustration with the so-called RINO, you know, the RINO Republicans, including some of the more politically correct so-called conservatives who kiss up to political correctness. It's annoying. I'm annoyed at it too, but we got to cool off and be right. Anyways, man.
Man, you would never hear me say a hateful thing about, you know, other people. It's just, you know, I have my own ancestors. I have my own people that I care about. You know, my grandmother was born in 1933. You know, that is a certain year in Germany, and she's one of the greatest people I ever met. Of course, that's, you know, my grandmother. But what?
Cool, man.
I just want to say, man, if anyone out there, you know, a lot of people, you know, we might seem hateful, but, you know, a lot of it is just, you know, fear for what's going to happen.
I definitely take it. Definitely take it all with a grain of salt. As in, like, I don't believe everything that's said about everybody, and I know I can totally clearly recognize that the people who are calling out so-called hateful people are hateful people themselves. But out of curiosity, last quick question: how old are you?
Me? I'm 29.
Okay.
I probably sound younger than I am, but
yeah, you do sound kind of young. All right, man. I'll talk to you again, Steve.
You guys have a nice day.
Thanks, man. Happy White History Month to you.
Yeah, for me it's April 20th. All right, have a nice day.
All right, man. Oh, man. German out of Massachusetts. First time caller. How are you?
Yes. I'm doing fine, man. It's good to speak to you.
Yeah.
Hake.
Cool, man.
James, right?
Yep. Nice to talk to you, too.
Cool, man. Yeah, so I got a question.
Okay.
So I might inform you. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm Dominican. And a few years ago, I don't know if you ever heard of the beast from Mexico. You know what that is?
Mm-mm. You talking about the chupacabras?
Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
I said, are you talking about the chupacabras?
No, this is a train that they call the beast.
Oh, yeah, I have heard about that. That's like the number one thing that the illegals ride on their way up here.
That's right, and they call it the beast. And a couple of years ago, I saw this in the Spanish television news. I speak Spanish. My mother's and my family, they're Dominican. They made a report on the Spanish Telemundo, and they talked about how many women, I mean, the majority of these rapes happen on these trains. There's so many wagons, you know.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that made me vote for Trump, because he was the first one that I ever heard that expressed the same feeling or anger or what I felt when I saw that report. About
the rapists, you know, coming up.
Yeah. I mean, and
I didn't realize that it was...
the majority of these... Say that again?
I didn't realize that it was... that those rapes were taking place mainly on the trains.
Oh, yeah, man. And they did a report, and I think it was around... It's definitely around when Obama was elected, or right around that time.
Yeah.
That the Spanish television did that report. And that was one of the main reasons why they did the report. And they were interviewing, you know, Spanish young girls and women that had experienced that. And they don't care. I mean, not that they don't care, but they still going on that trek just to get to America, and they go through all that stuff. And I don't know why Democrats are still trying to fight for open borders while this stuff is still happening, and they're all feminists and all this. It's just straight hypocrisy, and they don't wake up. It's sad.
Yeah, and they're all mad, but Trump told the truth. They're rapists, many of them.
It's the truth, and he was talking to the specific rapists, the ones that traffic these people.
Yep.
And that's what they do to them. They take advantage of the situation, and it's sad to see these people are like Jesse said, they're ungodly people.
Yeah.
And you know, evil people. They you know. So I just wanted to encourage folks for 2020.
Yeah.
Trump 2020. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, vote for Trump, man. And there's no one else that saw this. He's the only one I saw that expressed the kind of feeling I felt when I saw it. Because, you know, I grew up around, you know, with my mom and two sisters, so I have a great respect for women. I got a little beta in me, you know, working on that.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, the respect I have for her, especially my mother, who was a single, but, you know, she did a good job. She didn't marry anyone else. She never I never saw her with another man. She took us to church, you know.
Yeah.
And she turned away from, you know, I could tell she never put me against my father and all that. But women, you know, that go through that stuff, and then you got Democrats ignoring this, you know, just vote the right way, everyone, and educate yourself, really. And that's one way to start. Look at the beast train in Mexico and make the right decision, man. The world depends on it, you know.
Yeah. German, are you Mexican or black or white?
I was born. Right. I always tell people I was born in. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, but my family's Dominican. So
okay.
I'm Dominicano.
Nice. Cool, man. How did you find Jesse's show?
Wow. I saw the Savage Moments, man, and I laughed my dang ass off, man. I love the Beta, and all that. I have one for y'all. If y'all can use this sometime. This one's for 2020. It goes like this. It goes, the Dems, they gonna lose.
All right, nice.
And then when they lose, you say they lost.
Nice. I'll appreciate that, Jeremy.
All right. Hey, man, it's good to talk to you. Thanks a lot. And I hope people can educate themselves more on this beast thing. I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but that's where a lot of that stuff happens.
Okay.
And let's make the right decision 2020, y'all.
All right. Take care, German. Happy White History Month to you.
Thank you, man. Yes, happy White History Month.
Thank you. All right, bye.
You,
Emily, out of Maryland, first-time caller. Emily, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Nice.
My question is, I want to know why white people don't just band together to try and stand up against all this racism and hostility. Just to be brief, since Barack Obama's presidency, I have experienced a lot of violence and racist treatment from blacks.
You're white?
Have been, huh?
You're white?
Yeah. And I have black housemates, and I have experienced harassment from one. I had to call the police on him a number of times. And two of my housemates have made vicious racist remarks against me. And the situation now is, I'm at the point with one of them. He knows what he's going to get if it continues. The other one, I think, will leave me alone. But anyway, I'm planning to move from here.
Oh, good.
But I live in a black majority county, and I lived here when I first went to college. I have never had any kind of treatment like this at all until Obama came in office.
Yeah.
After that, I started to have some really bad experiences even before I moved to this house. And I've also seen, I was harassed and jumped by three black junior high school girls on the Washington, D.C. subway, okay, believe it or not. And I had to exit the train very rapidly, and there was a big man sitting in the seat behind me. He couldn't believe what these girls were doing. As soon as it stopped, the train stopped, we got off because these girls were terrible. It actually got physical, and they knocked me to the ground, and I just had to get off the train.
Yeah,
anyway,
you shouldn't, if you're a single woman, you shouldn't be in an area like that. I don't know why you would stay there.
You mean, well,
because
it's
been 12 years. I mean, it's been 10 years since Obama got elected. You got to protect yourself, and then you got to carry yourself perfectly, because you don't want to show weakness. You don't want to show irritation. You don't want to show anything that could set people off. But get to a safer place, Emily. And the reason that whites don't band together is because whites are the most divided people. It's basically 55-45 Republicans and Democrats. And so close to half of the whites support evil, and then more than half of the whites don't support it, but they're scared, cowardly, weak, pathetic, and don't really band together, except it's actually good versus evil, Emily. That's why. But man,
yeah,
you gotta protect yourself.
I am planning to move, but my question is, I don't understand the logic, because if, let's say I were an African American woman.
Emily, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Can you call me tomorrow?
No, that's all right.
All right.
I just wanted to ask why, because I couldn't understand.
There's no real logic to evil, and most people are evil. White and every other race are evil. So we gotta just overcome evil with good. But I appreciate it, Emily. Good luck. Be safe. Take care.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Check out thehakereport.com for, blog posts and all this stuff, podcasts. And then, of course, jlptalk.com for Jesse's show stuff. All right, guys. Take care.